And we are live. Look at that. Look at that. Welcome back, everybody, to another Last Call podcast. My name is Mikey T. I'm joined, as always, by Tristan from the great state of Ohio.
The best part of our new format is you keep talking and I don't make a sound. I can do whatever I want on my end, and the listeners, viewers can't see it. I can just waggle my dick around until I make a noise, and then I'm okay as long as I don't like sneeze or something, and then I'm on YouTube with my dick out.
But unfortunately, I have to have a little picture-in-picture window of you wagging your dick everywhere. So,
well, that's true. I mean, small price to pay.
Very small. I'm just saying.
Fuck you.
Hey, gotcha. Yes, but we are back. It's we're episode 75. We're getting up there now.
70 more. Yeah, 75. That sounds right. Sure.
That's a nice. I like numbers like that where it's. I say even number, but you know what I mean. It's easy to break down.
We won't hit 100 by the end of the year. We'll get close. We won't get there.
Ah, that's a shame.
I think we'll be in the 80s. We'll be in the 90s by the end of the year. It'll be close. Episode 100. And
we got to throw some special episodes out or something.
Just start splitting them into like fifths. Just like instead of 1 hour episode a week, we just do 5 10-minute episodes.
I mean, that's the way to be successful on YouTube. Not that we're going to be successful on YouTube. I'm just saying.
That's a good point. As long as all of your videos are 12 minutes, you can get monetized.
I think 10 is the marker.
It is, and it's so fucking annoying how like every fucking video I try to watch now has to be 10 fucking minutes long. Yeah, even if there's only 2 minutes worth of content.
Oh, I can't do it. I don't know how. I mean, the core audience of YouTube is like kids for the most part, and
I guess
young adults. But I don't understand it. I want my information as quickly as possible. I'm not trying to sit there and dick around and watch a whole podcast or something. What the fuck?
Yeah,
that's shit to do.
Fucking assholes do that.
Cheers. What do you got in there?
Still Fireball.
Is it the real Fireball, or you got your
real No. I did 2 shots of
Great Value Fireball.
Fire Rooster or whatever the fuck it is, Angry Hen or whatever, and I will never drink that again. It is.
You should have kept the bottle. That could have been like the Ohio version of.
It is actually still upstairs. I'll bring it down here and I'll just like plunk it down on. No, I can't put it on my desk because I'll be tempted to drink it. Like I'll drink a rum and coke one night. I'll drink my Fireball, and it'll be like fucking 1 o'clock in the morning. And we're still trying to be deciding on an episode title. And we'll be like, I need something else to drink, and I'll put Fiery Hen in my face at 1:30 in the morning, and then try to go to work the next day while feeling like I'm having a brain aneurysm.
Nobody wants a fiery hen in their face at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I'm almost 35 years old. I can't be drinking fiery red hen at 1:30 in the morning on a fucking Tuesday.
I know we're getting up there, but you are 35 years old.
Am I?
Yep.
What year is it? 2018. This happens to me every couple of years. Am I 35 now? Am I 36 in October? Are you sure?
Absolutely. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh. I'm 35.
Well, cheers to that. I'll see you in October when you turn 35 again.
Great.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Did I tell you that I taught my son to say cheers?
No, but that's amazing.
And it's one of my prouder moments so far. Because he fucking loses his mind. It's awesome.
Does he?
Like he'll see us like with our shot glasses or something. I'll say, "What are we doing?" And you'll see him like realize it, and he's like waiting. I'll just go, "Cheers!" Fucking yell it out. I'm like, "Yeah, that's right." And then he goes, delicious." That's right.
just like Daddy.
Like, yep, he understands.
I think we were. Oh, I know what it was. It was 2 weeks ago. So last weekend, I took the whole family camping, And so we had to like work up to that for a couple of weeks. And so the first thing we did was did the good old like set the tent up in the backyard kind of thing.
Right.
To spend a night in there. But it was like Saturday night and I didn't want to like go to bed at 8:00 at night, with my child. So the plan was to just put Connor to bed in the tent and then I'd go into the tent, a little bit later. And we've got a fire pit out back. So I was like, we'll just hang out, me and Susan by the fire pit, and we'll just, shoot the shit, have a couple of drinks, have a good time. And then, a couple hours later, I'll crawl into bed, into the tent with Connor and everything will be fine. Well, Connor didn't really want to go to bed by himself. So, which I should have fucking seen coming. Right. So he just hung out with us by the fire. And at some point I was like, why don't we do a couple of shots? So I went inside and I poured a couple of shots and then Connor watched us do them. And he was like, are you guys taking medicine? I'm like, sort of.
This is Daddy's medicine. He takes it because
it's like medicine. Yeah, it's like medicine for life. So it's weird to like as they get older, like just do these like kind of weird like grown up things in front of them, like a little bit more. Not all the time. Don't get weird about it, but like to do a shot in front of your 6-year-old was pretty bizarre.
I've heard of people that. So I know of somebody that has a stepson who is, and now this is a woman. Her stepson is, I think, 10, and she'll walk around naked, like around the house. And I'm like, that's revolting in my mind. Like, ew. I mean, why? Like,
so
put some clothes on. Like, is it really that important to you to have your freedom of your body in front of a 10-year-old?
So what's the cutoff on that?
Early, very early, I think.
How early?
I don't know. As early as possible.
Really?
I think so.
So are you hiding your junk from both kids at this point?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
If I can.
And your older son is 2 or 3 now?
2 and some change.
2 and some change. Okay. And so you're making an active effort to kind of now my parents were the same way. Like I know that like 10 is too old, but like 1 is perfectly acceptable. There's a cutoff in there somewhere, and I don't know where it is.
I'm not going to find that line. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to be the one that's going to be the guinea pig for that experiment. So I'm like, we're going to try to keep our clothes on around the kids because that's weird. People go to jail for that shit. What am I, a Catholic priest?
There was always the weird transition in like middle school. Like you remember getting to like 6th grade and then all of a sudden in gym class, like you're like forced to like get changed and shower in front of everybody else in the school. Like all of a sudden there's this hard transition that happens. It was really weird.
Not a fan.
Yeah, no, I get it. I wasn't a fan either. I guess I eventually, I don't want to say got used to it, but like it was just kind of fucking one of those things you had to do. It was always really weird.
I think we talked about it back when Bobby and Chris were on, and how there was that one gym teacher who was really overzealous about getting all the kids to take their shower after gym.
Yep.
That's all I can think about. Like I am also 35 years old, and I will not shower in a public place. I barely shit in a public place. If I have the option, if there is an option not to, I will not.
Well, I guess that's kind of the weird thing. Like I haven't really been to a place where like a public display of nakedness has been a thing. you know, like I go to the gym and stuff like that. And like, but like everybody's still kind of like keeping their underwear on for the most part. If you're going into a showering environment, like there's typically like a double curtain kind of setup. Like I haven't been to a place where people just get balls out in like a fucking locker room since high school.
Unless you're like 65 or older, and then they're just free balling everywhere.
And then it becomes totally okay. Susan was talking to me. She went to France last year and a half ago now. And saunas are like, oh no, this was Switzerland she went to? It was Switzerland she went to a year and a half ago. And like saunas are a big thing.
We're all American. It's all the same.
It's all the same. Yeah.
We don't know the difference.
And saunas are like a big thing there, and particularly in like unisex saunas, like it's still a thing to just like you just go in and you just fucking hang out naked. And like I can't imagine that being a thing that I do for fun. Like I can't imagine many things much more high anxiety than that, than like going into a sweaty room with my balls out for everybody to take a look at. Like that sounds not fun at all.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own, I guess, or something.
Yes, or something. But what's that fucking weird, like, a kid's, 12 years old at that point, 6th grade, and you're just like, fuck, get your dick out now. Like,
all right.
In front of all your classmates.
All you super uncomfortable kids, we're going to get you all naked at the same time.
I promise the bigger
Something
kids,
about cleanliness.
The bigger kids who already make fun of you for everything they can think of will certainly not talk about the size of your dick outside of this room.
Ugh, Jesus.
That can't still be a thing, right? Like they can't still be having like 6th graders shower publicly.
Well, I'm
right?
sure they do, but I mean, you probably can't have the weird pedophile gym teacher anymore. Like,
right,
eyes are open for that.
But even if the teacher's not involved, like this whole like I don't know, the forced showering thing, that can't in 2018. There's no chance. I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying 0 chance it's happening in 2018.
Well, what's the alternative? Like either everybody just smells like fucking butthole, or you have people take individual showers. Like, yeah,
I would imagine the facility is built differently. I would think there's probably again like kind of a double chamber,
like a gym, like a modern gym instead of like a prison.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like I remembered pretty sharply, like there's the poles in the middle of the room, the 4 things coming off of it, and you just like
yeah, what a fucked up design that is. It's like let's make everybody face each other. Can we make this more awkward?
Don't turn too quickly, don't want to touch dicks.
Let's store all the soap on the floor. The fuck is wrong with people?
Yeah, no, I mean so I imagine they're probably more like stalls kind of a thing. Maybe there's more of them, and you probably can't force a kid if he doesn't want to. You probably don't let him, and you maybe just let that shit work itself out. Like I have no idea, no fucking idea. It's still makes me nervous to this day.
You'll know soon enough, right? I mean, how many years you got?
So Connor's starting 1st grade, so 5 more years he'll be in middle school, I guess.
That's a terrifying thought.
Yeah, that happens fast. What did I figure out the other day? He is the class of 2030.
2030?
Yeah.
You know what the crazy thing is? He's only like what, 3 years away from how old we were when we met.
Oh yeah, like 4 years.
We're old as dirt.
Yeah, not that. Yeah, not that fucking far off. Jesus.
Class of 01.
Yeah, fucking motherfucker. Did you ever do the backyard camping thing with your dad when you were a kid?
No, I think we went straight into, because Boy Scout or Cub Scouts or whatever. I think we just went right into it.
Straight into the out of the back of the minivan camping kind of thing.
Yeah. So, but it was all organized, and it was like with friends and stuff. I don't remember what my first camping trip was, but I don't know. I can't believe our dads are still doing that kind of stuff.
I can't either. That's fucking unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, what has that been? Those Cub Scouting trips would have been.
I mean, it's
what,
like
2000 or 1992, give or take.
Jesus. I mean, it seems like it's come down to drinking for the most part, but not even drinking in the sense like we do or like we're doing here or what this show is about. Like, there's a whole bunch of old dudes like, let's go into the woods and sip on scotch together.
I would be really intrigued to see what actually goes on those trips. I think they're all like dosing LSD or something like that. Like, I think there's some shit like we didn't even know that's going.
Mind. Like, I think it's exactly as boring as I imagine it to be.
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I think Steve and Chuck and their merry band of gentlemen, I think they're going to the woods and there's fucking shrooms or LSD or there's something like fucking ayahuasca or some shit, and like they are just tripping balls for 3 days in some cabin in the middle of nowhere. And occasionally one of them wakes up covered in blood and they just never talk about it again. That's the only kind of thing that unifies a group like that.
Has anybody seen Gene? I think he died last night. The show must go on. Throw another tab on your tongue. Let's go.
What is the name of it? There's a movie we watched years ago. Jeremy Piven. It's called like Fall Into Me or Crash Into Me or something like that.
It's not PCU. I don't give a shit.
It's not PCU. It's about like it's about 4 friends who like have this annual tradition where they go into the woods, or like rent like a house at like a cabin in the middle of nowhere, or like it's actually like it's not the woods. But they always go on this trip and they just bring like fucking tons of cocaine and weed and alcohol. And they just go for like a week and they just get fucking blasted the whole time. Like it's their whole thing. They've been doing it since they were like frat guys, but now they're like 40 and like they don't want to let it go.
So it's like The Hangover, but in the woods.
And super fucking depressing because like they're way like they're past their prime, but they're still just like going into the woods and just blasting rails for 5 days. And there's like hookers involved, and we watched the trailer for this movie, and it's Jeremy Piven and other guys you'd recognize, and I can't remember who else is in it. But it's like it looks like, you know, the fucking Hangover or something like that. You're like, that movie looks tons of fun. What you don't realize is like halfway through the movie, they kind of realize that like none of them ever made it and they never fulfilled their dreams that they set out to pursue. And then I think one of them kills themselves and the rest of them are kind of like,
oh,
you know what?
okay.
I think he's got the right idea.
That takes a dark turn.
It does. I want to say like they made like a suicide pact or something like that. They're like, bro, if I'm not an author by the time I'm 40, we're gonna come out here. I'm gonna kill myself. And they're like, yeah, totally. And then the one guy does, and it's super fucking dark and sad. And me and Adam watched it one night, blind drunk at like 2:00 in the morning. And it was like, whoa, this is not what I thought it was.
I was looking for grown-ups. Like, what is this? My favorite is those people that make those sort of like ultimatums for themselves, and then just every year they're like ignore that they ever said that.
Yeah,
I have a couple friends who are like, oh, like if I don't own a restaurant by the time I'm 24, then I'm a failure. And they're like in their 30s and, you know, working at Staples or something. It's like,
yeah. So fucking kill yourself or shut the fuck up about it.
Why are you going to set those unnecessary goals for yourself? Set goals that you can achieve, or don't set goals. I don't care. Just don't needlessly make an ass out of yourself because you have some lofty goal for what success is. It's like, just live your life. Shut
Or
the
yeah,
fuck up, live your life.
or take small steps to improve yourself, or work towards that goal every day. Like, don't just like set this hard stop point on your life.
Or drink excessively.
Speaking of soothing the pain with alcohol, another exciting weekend at Nottingham's.
Oh yeah, we've got
that photo you posted is one of my favorite post-drinking photos of all time.
Wow.
So, something about the composition or the colors, just the way it's put together, like it's just fucking, you should call it like Wicked Bitch of the East or something.
Hey, I've got an eye for art. What can I say?
It is.
So anyway, not in the loop. The what was it? I guess it was Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. We were leaving the bar, and one of the servers comes up and said, "There's a lady in the bush out there." And I was like, "What? Wait, what?"
That's an odd combination of words.
Yeah, I was like, I must not have heard that correctly. And then they elaborated more, and they said there's a lady in the bush, and you can only see her feet. And I was like, well, I want to see this. So we go outside, and I walk right past it. I did not even see it. And I'm like, where is it? They're like, you walked right past it. Because I don't care. Like, if they're drunk enough to crawl into a bush, they're not going to worry about me saying anything to them. So I turn around, and lo and behold, you see a couple feet just sticking out of the bush. And this bush is 10 feet away from the front door to Nottingham's.
Oh, so, wow. Really?
I mean, and we're leaving. So I was working outside, so the last call is a little earlier. So we usually get out a little faster. So it's maybe 2:30, 2:40 tops. And we're walking out, and this lady's already firmly entrenched in the bush. That means at some point while people were still like leaving the bar and outside, this lady decided to crawl into the bush for safety. And hey, I mean, I guess you got to do what you got to do, but man, that's an interesting situation.
I assumed when I saw that photo, I don't know why, I assumed it was like, I don't know, 50, 100 feet from the building. Like she'd gotten away from like the flow of traffic and was just like, couldn't proceed any further. Like that was all.
Nope. And the best part is, so it was like a 50, 60-year-old black woman who had taken a bottle of Moscato that they had ordered for the table and was walking around drinking from the bottle.
Oh God.
And the bouncers had to yell at her to stop doing that because, you know, if you keep doing that, you might end up in a bush or something. LOL. Like, so, I mean, she's had some alcoholic beverages, but I mean, it's just a mess. And then before we all made it out there, our bouncer, who is like a real soft-spoken white dude, he goes over, and she, in the process of climbing into the bush, has left her cash and her credit cards all on the lawn, just right outside of her little cubby hole.
Wow.
And he comes over, and he's like, "Ma'am, you've lost your credit cards here." And she turns and goes, "Fuck you. White people can't talk to me." So our bouncer's like, "Okay," and just walks back inside, leaves her out there. I mean, we don't know what happened with the cash and everything. I don't know if that made it back to her or not. But then multiple other people came outside and like tried to talk to her. Like when I walked past her, I mean, I made the comparison to the Wicked Witch from Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
But literally when I walked past her the second time, because after I walked past her, I didn't realize it. When I walked past her the second time, she pulled her feet into the bush more. And I mean, it was exactly like the movie. I mean, her feet look like they're curling back under the fucking house. It was amazing. But
that's awesome.
apparently one of the servers like talked with her and there's video of it, but I haven't checked in to see what that's about. But yeah,
I think if you handed me a full bottle of Moscato and told me I had to drink it or take a bullet to the brain, I would have to think a long, long time about dealing with the consequences of drinking an entire bottle of Moscato.
it's Moscato. It tastes like juice. You wouldn't even know until it was too late.
It's like, the next day I'm worried about. I'll fucking put away a bottle of Moscato and deal with the consequences of that night. It's the next day. I would rather die than feel the pain in my brain that I know would come if I did such a foolish thing.
That's pretty accurate. She did not make such an assessment beforehand.
You mean she didn't make good life decisions? Have you ever woken up outside unintentionally?
No, actually. I've woken up and known and been like, I don't know how I got home.
Oof.
And there actually was one time where I made it home on my own somehow.
Oof.
And that's terrifying. So
That's
I avoid that. But there's been multiple times, and mostly my birthdays, as we know,
right,
where I'm like, I wake up in my bed and I'm like, don't know how I got here. But no, I've never woken up in some foliage. Like,
that's the one thing that's surprising that's ever happened to me. I've never just like quit outside. Like, I've passed out on couches and floors and stuff like that. And I've woken up in a couple of kind of odd places, but nothing super outrageous.
Well, I'm assuming you don't go out and just get plastered on your own. This woman came with friends, and that I guess her friends abandoned her.
Yeah, but you know what? There were plenty of opportunities because, like, I used to do a lot of drinking in college, and so I would live nearby, and so drinking was a significant walk on foot to and from the bar. And it is really easy, especially on like stupid fucking like quarter shot night or something like that, to way overdo it. And then there are plenty of opportunities to like, pass out in the foliage outside of the University of Maryland gates or something like that, or not be able to make it all the way back. It's amazing I never did that. Or I used to have a yard with like a big chunk of property. We used to just drink on that back porch till all hours of the morning. I never like passed out in the bushes back there. That would have been
I think I've mentioned it before where the Loafers is, a 10-minute walk from my house. And I had some friends that lived equally close to that. And I know there was at least one time where this was one of the times that I'm talking about, where I drove from Loafers to my friend's house, which was, a 1-minute drive, parallel parked, and then realized I was so intoxicated that I couldn't remember what their house looked like.
Ooh.
And I had to call them and say, I'm outside on the street. come get me. Because I didn't want to just start walking up to houses.
Oh, that'd be the worst. Did you see that footage of it's like security camera footage outside a woman's house? She was like asleep upstairs and she starts hearing someone like bang on the door, and it's a woman outside, maybe in her like 40s, like in a rage, like, let me in. Why'd you lock me out? Why'd you lock me out? She's like banging on the door, screaming at this woman, and the woman's inside like, what do you want? I don't know who you are. What do you want? Like, get out of here. And she's like, let me in the fucking house. And she starts like, I think she kicked in a screen on the window or something like that and tried to like crawl into the house. And the woman who lives there is terrified. She's like hitting her with like a broomstick or something like that. It's fucking
like she's scaring away a raccoon.
And then the
yeah.
and then the cops show up, and it's like a single deputy. And I always love cops who. There's several different kinds of cops. There's guys who show up like expecting a shootout, and that's fine, and I get that. But then there's like the other kind of cop who like shows up and they just kind of like got this swagger. Like he shows up, he's like, "Hey, how you doing? What you up to tonight?" Just like super friendly, just like, "What's going on? Everything okay?" Like, and you just know like he's freaking out, like he's ready to put 8 holes in this woman if he needs to, but he's got that real calm demeanor. He's like, "What's going on?" And they took her to jail. She clearly I think she was just had some sort of mental difficulties beyond that. But I can't imagine some woman just pounding down my fucking door at 3 o'clock in the morning. I would shoot her. I would shoot her on the front porch.
I would come out and Sparta kick that bitch across the lawn.
Right.
I'd come in. It'd be like Gerard Butler just coming out.
She is so lucky that she picked a home where it was some single woman in her 40s who happened to be cold asleep upstairs when she got there. How many other houses could she have picked that had, children sleeping upstairs with fathers who have been itching to test out their collection of handguns? Or, 230-pound dudes who've always wanted to Sparta kick someone off their porch.
So that makes me wonder. Like, obviously, I have a history of overreacting in those sorts of situations, but I think the average person, as much as they like to think that they would do something like that, it's like if you go on the internet and you see people commenting, and they're like, "Oh yeah, if that had happened to me, I would have come out and punched that bitch in the mouth." No, you fucking wouldn't. Calm the fuck down. You soft ass piece of shit. Like, everybody's got a mouth online. But I don't think most people would get into it like that. Even in something like that, where it's like, this woman's obviously obliterated, drunk, and a woman. Obviously, you could handle that situation however you need it and not get injured. But I guarantee you, most guys would go out there and just get embarrassed.
Yeah, I think most people would rightfully, unless they're entering the house, when they start trying to enter the house, I think that's a game change. I think what most people would rightfully do is like hide at the top of the stairs and call the police and wait for them to show up and deal with it. I think maybe 5% of people would exit the house to try and deal with the situation. This woman was, like I said, 50s, on the lighter side, like pretty tiny woman now, but she's flown into what appears to be some kind of psychotic rage. She is furious. She thinks she's at her friend's house and her friend has locked her out, and she is furious. So if you're going out there, you're getting into a fight. I think very few people would actually go out there.
That's so weird in my mind, just because of the way my mind works or doesn't work, for that matter. My first thought would be, somebody's on my property, I'm going to deal with it. And I think it's people that have that sort of mentality, but then also are not confident in their abilities, and that's how people get shot.
Yeah. Oh, like, yeah, definitely.
There are very few situations where I think if I had a gun, I would want to use it. But there are way more situations that are probably excusable where I would be like, I could punch this person in the face. Like,
yeah.
So it's like that sliding scale. Like, what, I don't know. How do you, where's the fine line there? I don't know.
I don't know, though. Fucking crazy people, man. If somebody who's flown into a rage, who I don't know, was at my house, who's clearly lost their fucking mind, like, I think the way I would have ultimately tried to deal with it was I would have tried to exit my house through another way and come around and gotten around behind her.
And then Sparta kick her.
Kick her into the door, nice hard surface. No, then try and like diffuse the situation a little bit. You know what I mean? But at least then, like if she comes at you, like you have a place to go that's not retreating into your house, and now there's this fucking demon in your front foyer that you have to like deal with. Like, deal with them outside the house with, I think everybody should have a bat. That's the way to deal with these things, not a gun. Gun seems a little more permanent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm all about that. But I just think like how easy it is. I can sort of gauge how much damage I'm going to do to somebody with my bare hands. I feel like people don't realize how little effort it takes to do serious damage with like a bat. I mean, think how easy it is. Say you have like an aluminum bat for like softball or something.
Oh God! Oh, it's fucking horrifying. What you
how fast you can swing that thing? That crazy lady comes on your porch. You're like tink tink tink, and then Sparta kick her off your porch.
Right after she's out cold and still standing for a moment, then you can get that chest kick in.
Perfect.
Doctor's like, why are all her ribs broken?
I mean, this is Sparta, motherfucker. This is how we handle shit.
You come knocking on Sparta's door.
Yeah. Oh, you think this is madness? Yeah. So I wonder. So I sent you a text, another Nottingham story. So we left. I think it was the week before. It may have even been another Friday, but we walked out of the building, and so you walk out, and there's like, so Bush Lady was about 10 feet out, like another 8 to 10 feet is the edge of the parking lot. So there's a set of parking spaces there.
Fuck? Yeah, okay.
And then there is, your first set of like two rows, like cars face each other, that whatever. In that row, there was a car. There was a car like a few over that was like on, and then there was this car, which was in the closest row of those two rows. So we'll say 20 feet from the building.
Okay.
There's clearly something going on in the car.
Oh.
It's running. It's 3:00. The car is shaking.
Oh, they're fighting or fucking.
Yep. So we get a little closer, and you can kind of see like one body.
Oh, all right. Hang on. Let me guess. I'm gonna go. Is it a 4-door or 2-door?
So it was like a crossover. So it was a 4-door
crossover, big vehicle. Okay, I'm gonna go. Girl on top in the front passenger seat because there are car seats in the back.
No, they had the full range of that vehicle because they are going to town in the back. And so of course it's right outside of the building.
Rear seats folded down?
Huh?
Rear seats folded down, or they're like in the back seat?
They're like in the back, like sort of like bench seat. Like
okay, all right.
Not like full bench seat, but you know what I mean.
Right. Standard missionary, but in the back seat.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. But you can clearly see the silhouette in the tinted windows of like the guy up. And you see like an arm coming down and like heads up here, and then just everything's fucking shaking. So we of course have to investigate. You're not just gonna let that shit go.
Right.
So
he could be in danger.
Yeah, you never know. That could be a fight, like you said.
He could be under duress. She could have a gun on him. Yeah. Fuck me, bitch.
Exactly.
Or I'll put one in you.
Again. So we get a little closer, and I think they realize that we're there. So everybody scatters. Like everybody goes off to their cars. But we're still talking across the parking lot to each other. And then you see 2 feet So they've now got out of the car. One of them has, and they're still going at it.
What?
So they've now repositioned, and now one, presumably the guy, is standing up because you see, I'm like on the other side of the parking lot. I can see 2 feet from underneath the car, standing at the side of the thing, and now it's shaking again.
Oh my God, that's a bold move.
So they like readjusted. So that means the only thing. No, wait, they were facing away from. So that means nothing is black. That means you walk out of Nottingham's at that exact moment. You saw somebody fucking another person. There's not even a door. The door is facing the other way. These people are just going to fucking town in the parking lot 20 feet away from the exit to the building.
Oh, that's so good.
It's a huge parking lot. It's Columbia, Maryland. I mean, and they didn't even go to the back of that parking lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm amazed. Like, that's a deep parking lot. You don't have to go far. And then you're like backed into kind of like a median. Like, you can drive back into like woods kind of thing. Like, there are options there.
Well, not only that, not only is it a deep parking lot, it's a business park. You could go, 100 yards in either direction, and you're in front of like buildings that are only open during the week, business hours. But no, you chose, I'm going to park next to the 4 other cars that are in this parking lot directly in front of the one business that's open right now.
Dude, that's alcohol, right? Like, that's just like, I need some dick, and I'm not going to make preparations for doing that. Yeah, sometimes you just got to get some D.
I hope I remember to go back and isolate the audio of you just saying, I just need some dick.
Sometimes. I'm trying not to be a misogynist about it. Everybody's like, oh, sometimes you just need some pussy. Like, maybe it was her. Maybe she's like, nah, fuck moving the car. Like, give me that now. Like, just fucking, it's too close in here. Open the door.
Let's be realistic.
Fuck me from outside.
The guy probably doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, you're probably right.
He's like, it could be the ugliest wildebeest you've ever seen in your life. But he's like, you see this? Fucking banging this shit out in the parking lot of Nottingham's. How fucking cool am I?
He would have fucking thrown you the devil horns. Fucking tongue out. Ah!
High five me, bro.
You want in on this? You go next.
Absolutely not.
It's up to you, man. She's down.
Ugh. I don't think I'm gonna finish this beer now.
Fucking parking lot at Naughty's, where it's at.
Where all the cool kids go to fuck.
Hey, speaking of Naughty's, so I wanted to ask you a question after all your years of waiting tables. I came across this advice column thing earlier. I wanted your opinion on it.
Okay.
My wife and I recently visited my grandmother and decided to take her out to a local dinner nearby. My grandmother has mild dementia and can easily get confused. When dinner was over, I got up to pay the bill. My grandmother decided she would cover the tip. She got her purse and pulled out a $1 bill. Just then, the waitress walked by, and my grandmother handed her the $1 bill and very happily exclaimed that she was delighted to have had her wait on our table and that the waitress deserved every bit of that dollar. The waitress looked horrified and rolled her eyes, let out a very loud sigh, and walked off. This all happened before my wife or I could do anything to stop it. After we helped my grandmother get to the car, my wife and I talked about what we should do. My first reaction was to find the waitress and give her a proper tip, but my wife told me not to. She argued that the waitress didn't deserve anything more because of her attitude. I didn't want to argue with her, so I went along with her decision, but I felt guilty about it. I wanted to explain what happened and that we really did think she gave us excellent service. So my question is, was my wife right to withhold a tip due to a bad attitude over a misunderstanding, or should I have gone back and tipped more?
Ooh, that's tough. I think it's somewhere in the middle, because I'm firmly of the mindset that you should not express any of that disgust until it's very clear that it was intentional or anything like that. Like I had one the other day where it was like a $40, no, it was like a $39 bill, and he gave me $40 and was like, "Yeah, keep the change, bro."
Oh.
And I was like, maybe I misheard him, so I like gave them their change anyway, and they absolutely like slid it forward and then bolted out to the parking lot.
Oh God.
So you know that sucks, but I wasn't like, oh my God, like it's not gonna ruin my night,
right?
So because sometimes people just don't know, you don't know those all the contributing factors, so you can't get upset at every bad tip like it's the end of the world. I mean, you're going to always be miserable. And I've worked with plenty of people like that. Like as soon as one person gives a bad tip, then they're ruined. Like that coworker is ruined for the rest of the night.
Which like almost always messes with your money for the rest of the night.
Exactly. Because now they're being fucking cunts to everyone else. So people who would otherwise be, perfectly adequate tippers are now lowering their standard because they're getting an attitude.
Right.
And that's one thing I have fought for a long time. Like when I was younger, it's, it slipped out a lot more, but I mean, there's so many different things that you have to take into account when it comes to how somebody tips. And you can't just bring that up. Be like, so what's your policy on tipping? Like, no, you just take the good with the bad, and it all evens out in the end. If somebody ends up being an asshole, be an asshole back. I'm all for that.
Sure.
But that's what in that situation I'm sort of torn. I think he should have gone back in and explained what happened, and then how she reacted then would have determined the tip. But yeah, I think it's shit to I think his wife is cheap, and because those people certainly exist. They're like, oh, I asked for 2 sugars and I only got 1. Phew, this place is terrible.
Yeah. For anything to undertip, any fucking excuse. Have you had anybody pull the put 5 $1 bills on the table thing on you yet?
No.
I suspect it's largely an urban myth, and that very few people are enough of a cunt to try and do that. I read about it online periodically. I've just never heard of anybody it actually happening to them.
I don't know many people that would survive that encounter. Yeah, I mean, if somebody did that to me, I'd be like, I'd immediately say, what's this money for? And if they explained it, I'd say, no, that's not how we're doing things. Because now I know they're an asshole. So I have no problem being an asshole to them.
Right. I feel like I'd be like, nah, you can keep this. Like, just, it's no tips, fine. We're not going to do this. Like, it's just the worst thing that you could do to somebody.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you have 2 people going, assuming you're not just doing that by yourself, at least 2 people, you're pretty much looking at a bare minimum $5 tip.
I mean, I don't care if it's like, 4 $5 bills put out on the table. This like weird game we're gonna play where like if I make you wait too long for something, you're gonna pull money off the table. Just keep it. I will sacrifice my tip. You go fuck yourself.
The only way I could see that being acceptable is if it was like an exorbitant amount of money. Like, oh, okay, you're probably only going to have a $20 bill, and you've got 5 5s out there or something. It's like anytime something goes wrong, you take off a 5. Like, you're pretty much guaranteed an acceptable tip. But if you do a really good job, then you get to keep all this extra. That would be a different thing. But
I mean,
nobody's doing that. So
I guess I'm kind of with you. It makes me feel a little bit too much like a puppet on a string. You know what I mean? Like, and I guess it's nothing different than usual. It just, I don't know. It spells it out a little too explicitly for my taste, I think.
No, I understand that because I mean, but I'm always very direct with people. So, I'll have somebody like snapping and something, and I'll come over, hey, don't ever do that again. And you'll see they're like at first, and I'll come back and I'm still nice to them. Now, if they respond to that poorly, that's a different story. But sometimes people don't realize. I mean, there's all these sort of breakdowns that I've had where it happens a lot at Nottingham's because of the way the place is laid out. You got servers, you got bartenders, you got two different bars.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people will come up and be like, hey, let me get a Bud Light, throw it on the Johnson tab. And I'm like, I don't have a Johnson tab. Oh, well, I started it with whoever, with the server over there. And I was like, and I want to be like, do I look like that server? I know, man. It's easy to mix us up. But the thing that people don't realize, it's like, do you go to the grocery store and you're like, oh, I got all my stuff and I'm going to like put everything in this lane and I'm going to walk over there and ask this person if I can pay for it.
Right.
And there's all those great analogies that I've figured out over the years that makes it a little easier for people to understand. It's like people that don't start tabs but continually order stuff and pay with credit card.
Yeah.
It's like, can you imagine if you went to the grocery store and every item you swiped your card, you ran it, you paid, you signed, you gave them back at every item? It's insane. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Or people that want to get hooked up, like, oh yeah, man, hook that up. Let me get that with less ice.
Oh,
Do you go to the gas station and you're like, well, my tank is extra empty, let me just get some extra gas? No, you don't do that. Why the fuck does everybody do it at a bar? Like, how is it that confusing? The bar and restaurant industry is simple by nature, and how so many people don't understand it. It just blows my mind. It does not take, on both sides, it doesn't take a fucking genius to serve a table. It doesn't take a genius to be a good patron either. And both of those things are a hot commodity. It's like it's very rare to find like
on both sides,
a good server or a good patron. And it's like it all comes down to my overall outlook on life, that all people suck at all things and the world is a terrible place.
That's true.
I wish I brought more liquor down. I need a shot after that. Do I have anything? I don't, do I?
You're like a fucking dry drunk, just like pawing around your basement trying to find some liquor swirl.
Where's some mouthwash? I'll swig that shit. Who cares? Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Fuck people.
So the MTV Video Music Awards happened last weekend. Nobody watched them. There was like 6 people that watched them because nobody watches music videos anymore.
The people that were there didn't watch.
Yeah, they were just taking selfies.
Did Kanye say anything outlandish? No? Oh, then nobody cares.
Okay. There were 6 nominees for Artist of the Year.
Okay.
I will give you $5 for each one that you can name.
Artist of the Year?
Artist of the Year. You get 6 guesses.
Beyonce?
Wrong.
Fuck. Kanye?
Incorrect.
Sam Smith?
Incorrect.
That redheaded motherfucker?
I don't know who you're talking about.
I can't think of his name.
No, no. He names his albums after mathematical functions. I forget.
Was he? Shows
Yeah,
you
it's
how much I know.
divide, multiply. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
No, not on the list.
Cardi B.
That's one.
I got one.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's one.
I think I had all my guesses, right?
No, you got one more guess.
I got one more guess. Okay.
You got one more guess.
All right. Cardi B is the bar for excellence.
Didn't win, but was nominated.
Oh, well, let's go Taylor Swift.
Nope.
Does she even have an album out right now? I don't know.
You know what? I did not see her nominated for anything. She may not have dropped an album in whatever the appropriate time period was. So no, the Artist of the Year nominees are Ariana Grande.
Oh fuck! I was actually trying to think of that, but I couldn't remember what her name was.
Bruno Mars.
Oh, okay.
Cardi B. Drake.
Oh,
Post Malone.
really?
And the winner, Camila Cabello.
I don't know who that one is.
I don't actually either. I think there are songs of hers that I would recognize if they were played for me. But Camila Cabello. Yeah.
Like the hunting store.
Yeah, Cabela's. Yeah, Camila Cabello's.
Okay.
Yeah, Cardi.
I will say
best new artist of the year, just not best artist.
Oh, okay. Best new artist.
Best new artist came out last year, I think.
Oh, whoops. I probably wouldn't have guessed all those other people. Whoops.
Ed Sheeran did get a nomination for Best Pop. But yeah, no, I wouldn't have.
The other ones I mentioned, did they have Best Artist or something else?
Well, you were guessing Artist of the Year. Best new artist was Cardi B. Cardi B was on there. Best Pop, Ariana Grande, Camila Cabello, Demi Lovato, Ed Sheeran, Pink, Shawn Mendes. Best Rock, Fall Out Boy, Foo Fighters, Imagine Dragons, Linkin Park, Panic at the Disco, and 30 Seconds to Mars. I was surprised I recognized all those names and that they were
recognize all of them, but I would consider almost none of them rock.
Oh, Foo Fighters is rock.
Yeah.
Linkin Park is rock by today's standards.
What is?
Linkin Park.
Yeah, but how is fucker's dead? Like, how are you putting out rock albums?
That's a good point. Although, was he still in the band? Was he the one that was still in the band, or was he the one that left years ago?
I mean, he was the main singer.
Oh, okay. Did they used to have a rapper, right? He left a long time ago.
No, well, he was still with them, but he did side projects and shit.
Okay.
Mike Shinoda.
Yeah,
he did like Fort Minor and
right. Panic at the Disco. Yeah, they're not rock, but they're kind of hard to define. They're not pop either.
That's like dance
but they have a
rock.
band.
I don't know.
An actual band behind Panic at the Disco, right? Keyboards, guitars, drums. Like, that's rock. Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy is pretty borderline. Fall Out Boy just makes music for like Madden video games at this point. I think that's really all they do.
Well, same thing with like any of those. It's like 80-90% computer. God, we sound fucking old right now.
Yeah, that's true.
I need a drink after this conversation. I'm glad we do this podcast so I can have excuses to drink.
Are we due for Would You Rather? Is it that time?
Mm-hmm. And then we'll, of course, put the information up on our Facebook page. Everybody can join in on whatever our favorite question is. So let's do this. Oof. We're back in the good ones. So I love these.
All right.
These are so good.
Rock and roll.
All right.
Fucking do this.
Would you rather crush a light bulb with your bare hands?
Okay.
Or super glue your hands and fingers together?
Ooh. So I I don't know what the process is for removing super glue from your hands.
I feel like you remove your hands.
No, like there's got to be like a chemical like release agent, right? Like
Probably
some kind of thing that would do that. Both sound damaging to your hands. I feel like I could crush a light bulb with my hands without damaging them too severely, but I also feel like I could crush a light bulb with my hands and really mortally injure myself.
Yeah, like if you just ran up and grabbed a light bulb and were just like, Pah! Like, yeah, that could get bad.
You cut tendons and fucking like it could be nasty as opposed to super glue days,
like
this couple of weeks.
Yeah, like the most durable skin on your body would be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think worst case, my hands look like I'm praying for a couple of weeks, right? I feel like there's a chemical that deals with that, but even if there's not, it's got to your body's gonna fight it off eventually.
Yeah, I gotta say, yeah, I'll go super glue.
Yeah,
just out a more consistent.
Sheer danger factor. Oh, yeah. No.
There's too much of a range with crushing a light bulb.
That is one of my favorite scenes in cinema in the last 5 years, maybe. The Nice Guys, where fucking Ryan Gosling, he tries to do the thing where you punch a hole in a window and you reach in and you undo the doorknob lock and he punches a hole in the window and he just like fucking cuts an artery open on his hand.
Oh, yeah.
He starts like bleeding out on the sidewalk. It's one of my favorite. It's so well.
I mean, that's real life, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so fucking good.
Like when I chased that guy out into the woods. All right. Would you rather be someone really short whose last name is Short, or be someone overweight whose last name is Skinny?
That's a weird choice.
You're
really short and your name is Short, or you're really fat and your name is Skinny?
I mean, those are two of my main things that I'm glad I'm not, is short or fat.
I'm going to go short.
I feel like, yeah.
It's an easier thing to be like.
I don't know.
You can come up with some fun jokes for being like, yeah, my last name. What UPS guy's like, what's your last name? Short. Yeah, don't bring it up. Yeah, I get it. I'm short. As opposed to like
the same notion, though, if you think about it, someone who's overweight and you see all those guys and it's like, oh, it's Lil Tony or whatever. It's like a big ass fucking dude.
I feel like Skinny's a little too on the nose. You know what I mean? Like it's like
You're probably right. You're probably right.
It's just
I really don't want to be.
It's a little too sharp. It cuts a little deep. I feel like.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm down with short. Yeah, we'll stick with that. All right.
I've been trying to teach my son that it's a quote from Game of Thrones from fucking Tyrion, and I'm gonna get it wrong. It's something like, if you wear your shortcomings as armor, they can never use it to hurt you. And I've been trying to instill that in him.
That's why I try to tell people when they're dealing with me fucking with them online. It's like, I only like lay into you because you get all worked up about it.
Oh, hey, this might be a little too public of a forum to deal with this, but fuck it. So there was an interaction the other day where Dixon posted that he heard that there was a 90s party that was going to happen at that bar in Columbia that Toro DJs at.
Yeah.
And that he really wanted to go to it until he heard that Toro was going to DJ it. And what did he say? He said he would rather go to that place that called him the N-word than go to any place where Toro is DJing. And Toro showed up in the comments and said, Yo, I'm gonna be real with you. I forget exactly what he said, but like, I'm tired of you being a fucking asshole. Like, fuck you. I hope you fucking die.
Did he really? I didn't even go into the comments for that.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Toro showed up and was like, it felt really like, hey, fuck you. You crossed the line. Like, you're being a dick.
Like, this should be behind closed doors with a counselor sort of thing.
You know what? And that's what I wasn't sure of. Like, I wasn't sure if Dixon was like, you know, kind of promoting it on the sly and trying to be like, you know,
no,
trying to help him out, or whether he was just really being a dick about it. And Toro finally said, that's fucking enough.
He was probably only partially being a dick about it, like with the intention of fucking with Toro, because he's definitely promoted Toro as well. But
right.
I mean, all any of us do, like that side of my friends group, all we do is fuck with each other. So I mean, that's 90% of what it was.
I get it. Toro does not seem amused, but I could be wrong. I'll have to go back and check the results later. All right.
Yeah. I mean, it's somewhat a mutual thing. So all right. Would you rather drink liquid found leaking from a garbage bag?
Oh, fuck.
Or
the other one.
Or chew on a hairy substance found between the cushions of an old couch.
Is it dry?
I guess so.
Yeah, couch hair, definitely.
How long do you have to chew? I think that's
a great question. As long as it would take you to drink.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so maybe like a second. You have to like put it in your mouth and just and then.
Got to chew on it. You either got to chew on it for 5 seconds or you got to drink 5 seconds worth of liquid. One or the other.
Oof. I might have
trash water. You work at a fucking restaurant. You know what a fucking horror show that is.
Yeah, but it's most like I've charged people to drink the bar mat before.
Bar mat is not the fucking trash bag in the fucking back of house, and you know it.
Oh, back.
Plus, it doesn't say where the trash bag is from. What if it's like a hospital operating unit?
That's a whole different world. All right, I will probably say
the color of the water that builds up in the trash bag of a restaurant trash can. I don't know where that color comes from, but it's a very unique and horrifying color, and I don't want it in my mouth.
Yep. Yeah, I'd probably agree. I think I would go with hairy substance just because. Oh God, that's hard to say. Yeah.
Is it my couch? It's my couch.
Yeah, I assume.
Yeah, couch.
Well, is it your trash can and your couch?
Fuck your couch. N-word.
You just want an excuse to say that. I don't know. Actually, I'm going to stick with liquid because I know I can.
Oh.
I'm going with liquid. I'm sticking with it.
Oh, that's a mistake.
This might end up being our survey one.
Okay.
All right, let's see what we got. Would you rather have to spend your entire natural life as a 63-year-old person or as a 13-year-old person?
Well, there are
now hold on
questions to be asked here.
Yeah, like does that mean as the mentality of a 13-year-old person and a 63-year-old, or is it like, oh, your body is in that shape?
So I would say that it is you are in the body of that age person for your whole life. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would say it is your body at 13 or your body as it's probably going to be at 63. I'm going to go with 13 because my body at 63 is probably, I don't know, rotting in the ground. I'm gonna have a heart attack at like 54.
I feel like you have a lot more options.
I'm gonna be the guy that all my friends who are like, man, he was only 54. I'm gonna be the guy that inspires one of my other friends to like get into shape and start running.
Way to jinx yourself, people.
In their mid 50s.
Yeah, I got to go 13 because it's like you have so many more options than. Although you can't like get a job or anything, right? I think.
Are you spending your whole life as a 13-year-old or in the body of a 13-year-old?
As a 13-year-old person.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, what do I just like live with my parents the whole time?
That sounds amazing.
Am I in fucking just like 8th grade for 60 years? That I want to kill myself.
Yeah, that part sounds pretty rough.
What am I doing with myself? What can you do at 13?
I can't give a solid answer on this one.
Yeah, I don't. 13 going on 60.
I just read ahead on the next one.
All right.
Would you rather work as an armpit sniffer for a deodorant testing company or as a hairstylist for dead people in a mortuary?
It's a good question. I mean, is somebody's gonna train me to like style hair? Because at the moment, like, if I can't do it with like, a water bottle and a comb and some fucking Axe hair paste, I can't be fucking done. I'm assuming the 61-year-old Jewish woman who passed away from a heart attack that my fucking Axe styling paste isn't going to cut it for her. So I guess it depends on the job training available to me.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, worst case scenario, you get fired.
Well, I mean, this has to be my job now. So what, I get picked up by another mortuary? Like, I
guess there's quite a market for that. I gotta go hairstylist because I feel like that sucks you around dead bodies, but it's like armpit sniffer.
See, I was gonna go. Being an armpit sniffer sounds terrible because of the smells, but I feel like the smell of working around dead people all the time and the formaldehyde and shit like that would be probably awful. So I'm going to go armpit sniffer because I'm going to assume the majority of those armpits are slathered in some sort of delightful smelling chalky paste.
Yeah, but they have to test their resilience to such smells.
Oh, so I'm smelling an armpit that had Old Spice on it 7 hours ago before 6.5 hours of rock climbing. I see what you're saying.
I'll probably stick with hairstylist, I think.
Nah, I'm gonna go armpits.
All right. There we go. We split a couple on this one.
We did. We don't often do that.
Yeah, usually it's pretty much an agreement. But all right. Well, that's another one in the books. So thank you very much for tuning in. Join us for last call. We'll
Episode
have
70.
What? Oh, yeah. Last call.
70.
So thank you for tuning in each week. We're gonna start having some guests back here soon. Get back into the swing of things. Getting as crazy as it used to be. We'll also be putting up one of these questions soon on Facebook. So we'll see what happens. But we'll see you next time on the next last call.
See ya.
Ooh, that was so close.
So close.